All right. And it should be ready to go now.
I think we're live.
I just wanted to make sure it was populating on our side. But anyways, let's kind of keep it rolling anyways, though. Welcome back to your favorite comedy finance channel. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. We have ArcBlock and ArcBlock CEO Robert Mao, and we have Ruel Black from Black Ru Investing. You know, this is our little, you know, for now, I think we're going to have more people on when we have like full, like maybe we had like 5 people on the last panel. But this is kind of like our Web3 gang at this point now.
Yeah, that's amazing.
How you guys been?
Great. Yeah, and thanks a lot. Thanks again, Dian. You're always so so fast and so helpful to set up this. Sometimes I feel that I'm a single test person, and when I'm working on the product, and I forgot now I don't have time for the marketing and for communication. And really, thank you for keep me have the better communication with the community. That would be awesome. And Ru, and so last conversation is so nice, and I really look forward. And then I just talked to somebody, say, hey, I should totally talk to Ru. But then Dian say, hey, Ru is going to jump in. I think that's amazing, right?
I kind of last minute.
Awesome. I'm so glad you enjoyed the last interview. I think it was the greatest interview I've ever given. Everyone was remarking on like how open and honest you were, and you rarely get that from CEOs, unfortunately. So like, thank you for being so gracious, for coming on my channel. And yeah, we will hope to have you again.
Awesome.
So I'll get this show started from here, okay? So let's roll it with ArcBlock. Now, you had a ton of things happen within the past couple of weeks, like you deployed the AI Blocklet, and just to touch base on just to catch up anybody, the AI Blocklet is blockchain agnostic, and what's nice with Blocklet is it could be utilized whether on ArcBlock server or it could be utilized on your own server. This decentralization tool is really going to take things to the next level, especially if your staff has less bandwidth than it actually needs. If you need more bandwidth, what's nice with AI Blocklet is it's going to 10x your production rate. And we have Robert here to talk about, not only the AI Blocklet, but also a brand new white paper that's coming out, or maybe in addition to what you had prior. Can you catch us up on what the announcements are and the major updates coming up?
Yeah. So the people who follow what we're doing recently definitely will see we have a lot of message about this. We call it AI Kit. So AI Kit is actually a perfect example that shows the advantage of ArcBlock's Blocklet-based architect, which is a very the killer part is the composability, right? So for example, AI Kit itself is AI Kit itself is actually a capacity providers that connecting to all different kind of AI models. For example, the very popular ChatGPT, which is based on the GPT-3 model. And there's also other things like DALL-E and Stable Diffusion, which is AI GC image models. With AI Kit, we basically imagine like AI Kit is basically like a hub of all kind of new AI technology. In the back end, AI Kit talk to all kind of different models, different AI providers. From the front end, AI Kit is going to talk to each of the blocklet that is installed, that is designed, which run together. So that basically means all you need to do is just to install the AI Kit, and then boom, the other block is going to have a lot of AI features. Some of those features, they are just built in. These just get it automatically. Like for example, if you have tried our Page Kit, right? So the Page Kit is basically like a content management system for designing web pages, right? It itself is amazing tool. It's very easy to use. But once you install the AI Kit, it's just silently you will see there's a little menu is going to pop out. So that menu is going to allow you to automatically translate to different language, right? So for example, if I'm writing ordering a website in Chinese, and then I decided to add a new language version called English, right? So then the AI kit is going to automatically be able to help me to translate all the Chinese content into the English, right? I can add a Korea, add a Japanese, all of those happens, right? So in the past, you can totally copy your content into a translator and then translate to a new content, and then you copy back, right? So you can totally do that manually. But now with AI Kit, it's just basically just like automatic. It's automated, right? And more things are coming soon. We're coming soon. So on the page kit, whenever you type in something, you want to write something, you can let the AI continue write it for it, right? For example, I can write, say, ArtBlock is a platform to help developers. Saying I don't know what to write next.
I just on the Twitter account, I saw. Well, I used it myself. What's nice about when a lot of people, they missed the kind of the point of having or using Chat GPT as an API. When you're able to plug in that technology into different tools, it makes tools more powerful. So, when a lot of the investors or developers, when they were first looking at this and they started seeing people tie up Chat GPT to different ecosystems or for different use cases, they said, oh, they're just lacing GPT over whatever they have. That's not really AI. Wrong. AI is a tool. It's powerful. And when you put that robot or that machine behind the tool to do what you need it to do, you're going to 10x the production rate that you never had. That's the point. It's no different than when you're looking at a hammer. The hammer is very useful, but without the human or without some sort of mechanical arm nailing it or nailing something, the hammer is useless. So and that's kind of the whole point of adding this tool as an API to a lot of these different things like Twitter or different blocklets or what have you. It's going to make things go faster and more seamless than somebody doing it manually. And that's just the point, guys. I want to really put that out there for a lot of people that are looking at different AI projects. They have the right tools, but what accelerated that growth or that production rate is putting that AI behind it. And that's where I think a lot of investors are missing the boat as to why it's so bullish that this technology is being installed on top of tools like Blocklet.
Yeah, I found, for example, for the AI, I found that there's a lot of people has a very wrong interception of what AI is and what to do with AI. So there, at least there's two part of the today's after the OpenAI makes a breakthrough. There's at least two directions. One direction is you want to build something that is similar or even better than OpenAI's AI model. Usually large companies are doing this, like Facebook tries just to release a new paper and try to adopting these ideas. And Google are trying to do something. A lot of Chinese companies, they want to do that. And so this is the one part of the world, right? They want to build something similar to compete with OpenAI. Mm-hmm. But I think there's a bigger side of the world are the developers, application developers that thinking, hey, the AI right now has a breakthrough, is going to like the electricities, right? So what can we use those AI power to make our things 10x better? So it could be a blog, it could be a photo, could be we use on the translation, everything, right?
I think a lot of people forgetting that a smart contract. I even saw lawyers getting fired, not fired, but like lawyers are even scared that they're about to lose their job. There was a major story recently that a bunch of lawyers got together to actually stop this AI lawyer from becoming real or going to the courts. And they were actually threatening the developer because it was so promising, because it actually like this technology not only passed law school, but it passed like all the tests it needed to pass. So it was like bona fide. So I think a lot of people, they're really they're missing the point of what this technology could be and the customizations that you could, install to whatever platform they got.
Like, imagine having like your friend next to you and you can ask him any question you want about any subject and he'll just tell you the answer. Like details that you can copy and do whatever you want. That's what AI is like, okay? And I code and I'll go ask Chat GPT questions about like app armor and Linux configuration questions, like C++ questions about Rust, and it will just give it back to you and give you a detailed example with working code examples. Like, where else can you get that? Like, you can't even get that on Google nowadays. Like, you'll Google something and it'll give you like the worst, like your answer isn't even on page 3 nowadays.
What about NFT marketplaces?
Yeah, so that's also going to. I think that yesterday I just kind of retweeted one of the guys I follow him on Twitter, and he's a VIP in the industry. He was used to be a partner in the A16Z in the Web3 and the cryptos, and he wrote something. He said he's kind of. I kind of think that he's a little bit against or worried about the AI. He say, hey, Web3 means everything you write can be turned into money, right? I write something and then people pay for it, right? But the AI is AI. What you write, what you create is going to turn into the model, and nobody going to pay. He said he kind of a very negative for this. So I retweeted that and said, no, hey dude, you are only thinking on the surface, right? On the surface, yes, the AI going to take away somebody's job, right? But actually, it's not AI take somebody's job. It's the people who know how to use AI better going to take over your job, right? It's not AI taking over your job. It's somebody who know AI to take over a job. That is said, if you know how to use AI better, right, your job is safe, and you're potentially going to take over somebody else's job, right? So with the AI power, so this is something that we're coming soon. We're going to, as I said, once we have AI Kit is going to give every single blocklet that on our blog platform have the capability of the AI, right? No matter it's a blog, it's a discussion, or it's an NFT and the NFT marketplace, everything going to be AI powered. That's going to happen in the next few days and weeks. It takes time for us to roll out. And there's also a lot of things to digest. We can't say, hey, everything is down there, and then people get very confused. We're going to roll out one by one. Yeah. For example, the simplest one we have is a Twitter assistant. And then this week, we're going to have more assistant from how to answer the email, how to answer the application. Oh, I tell you a real story yesterday, right? Last night. I'm proposing to speak at an international conference in Finland. And so those international conferences, especially for those academic one, I don't know if you know that if you want to apply something there, even they want you speak there, the painful thing is you're going to fulfill a very terrible, questionnaires. And those questionnaires usually are like 7 pages. Each of them have different sections, like 500 to 1,000 words. From what you're going to talking about, which is easy, and there's also going to say what kind of a social impact you're going to after you are expecting for attending this. What is the diversity problem that you are? All of those things is in the past is very, very painful for me. I know what to do, but answer those questions takes hours. Yeah. But yesterday I just used our AI kit. I created a special prompt. The prompt is basically a special AI, is basically an instruction to the AI to tell the AI how to deal with this text, right? It's kind of like when you talk to ChatGPT, you ask questions, but sometimes when you ask something wrong, if you do not ask correctly, the ChatGPT is going to give you wrong answers, right? One of the key part of the AI applications is you can design some prompt. You basically design a template of the questions. So once you design the template of questions, you no longer need to ask them, right? Instead, you just fill in something, right? I created this kind of use AI kit. I created our own prompt just for answering those applications, and I basically get this done within 15 minutes, right? So, and after I read the more important is after I read that after I read all those bullshit that answering this question, I feel yes, it's doing so good, right? Everything makes sense. This is amazing, right? So in the future, once the AI kit is here, anybody who developed the Blocklet, right, like byte storage, like those, like this kind of link tree alike stuff, right? How to write a short bio, right? So everybody, whenever you create a single user page, you want to say, hey, 2-liners to introduce who you are. It's honestly, it's painful for me. But with AI, you just type in a few keywords, or write whatever you have, and the AI going to give you, potentially the best answer.
So I was on an interview with a superstar, Ruel, just yesterday. And, we were actually discussing all the different things that you could do with Blocklet. And, I think that the fact that you could create, a lot of these, I mean, think about writing ebooks, and all those things, how many products that you could produce doing that, and I just think that there's so many ideas. And then when we were talking just yesterday, we were looking at different pictures that you could alternate, or, with a few different keywords, you can make different digital art, and then you could sell that.
Yeah.
I think that it's adding so much benefit, and it really helps you create a business faster. And that's the point.
Yeah, and I think this is definitely going to save the NFT industry, right? Rather than destroy it, it's going to save it, because I'm so tired to see those kind of ugly apes everywhere, right? So whenever somebody who uses that ugly apes, it's tasteless, it's terrible, it's not even art, right? But with AI, you can have 10x better arts, and that also gives the chance for the real artist, because AI can never beat the real artist. But if you're just somebody who can draw, you can draw some kind of tasteless things, right? You're doomed, right? If you don't use AI to improve your painting skill, you're definitely doomed. Because even I cannot draw anything. I can draw decent stuff with AI now. I can take pictures. The models industry. There's going to be a lot of interesting things, right? Like I showed you the pictures.
When I saw that CGI picture of that girl that the computer made up, I was like, wow, this is going to be a great business model soon. I was like, man, this is crazy. I was like, man, because you think about it, OnlyFans is doomed. Think about it. OnlyFans is so doomed, and all these other, places like that. But anyways, think about all these other creations that are out there for NFTs. There's music artists that are, getting taken over by AI bots and stuff of that nature. So it is kind of daunting in a way, but I do think you have a huge point. The people that are going to be successful are going to be the people that have the ability to leverage the technology over others. And that is why it's important to learn how to use the tools of tomorrow, so that way you could build today and be ready for tomorrow, have a bigger business tomorrow. I was actually talking to one of my friends. She loves to draw, a complete artist, and never really had the shot to go, international, or to go to a real big marketplace. And I was telling her, I was like, you got to take a look at NFT marketplaces. Here, this is the wallet you need. This is the website you need. This is all you need to do just to get your images up there and create a community for what your art is. She's a really good artist. So, I think that the more and more that people utilize tomorrow's technology the best today, you guys are going to be the next big leaders of tomorrow.
100%. 100%.
Yeah, so I think the biggest take is in these days when I talk about AI, I think is that it's not AI take your job, it's somebody else take your job with the AI, with the help of the AI.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Yeah, get prepared. Use the AI well. It's basically like, imagine like today, if you don't use a computer, you don't use cell phone, you don't use a gun to protect yourself. Instead, you're trying to be strong in the fighting. No, there's no chance for you to win, right? But if you take advantage of all those technologies, all those good weapons, right? You're be the good guy, and you're going to protect yourself so well, right?
Well, and I was thinking about this, like people like were saying the same thing that they're saying about AI, about computers, like a while ago, right? Like, oh, I don't know about those computers. There might be like different spirits in those computers, you know, I don't know. And then everything, like now we're like, we have a computer in our hand every day, like with our cell phone, like basically, right? So, you know, it's going to be more adopted.
Everything is always taboo when you first take a look at it, you know, but I'll be really honest, you know, Robert, I was actually kind of disappointed with ArcBlock. I saw that they were replacing me. You know, I saw the AI girl on your YouTube channel. And I couldn't believe my ears. I couldn't believe my eyes. That whole woman. So if you go to ArcBlock's YouTube channel, the last video they posted, the girl and the voice are AI. Like the whole thing is AI generated, the whole thing. And, you know, yeah, some people are going to say, oh, well, you know, the girl sounds robotic. Okay, great. But there's already tools to overcome the voice problem. So you're going to have AI robots that are AI generated, and then at the same time communicating with you. So, you know, hopefully I could keep my job with ArcBlock a little bit. You know, I don't know if he's going to let me go. I mean, I'm not as pretty as the AI generated female, you know. You know, but I think it's awesome though. I mean, I don't see anything wrong with the AI. I just feel like I want to leverage it in any sort of way I can, you know.
Yeah, I think AI here is basically like help human to kind of free human from the repeatable, you know, those kind of hard works, right? So we just use our imaginations and thinking, do something that AI cannot do. But that's going to be something super powerful. That's why we think this is a big opportunity, and that's why we built this AI kit. And some of them are confused. Hey, are ArcBlock trying to turn into an AI company and, you know, no longer on the Web3? I said, no, totally not, right? So we are bringing the AI to the Web3. We are bringing, we just use the AI technology. Whenever it's matured, we turn that into a part of the Web3. I think kind of AI is basically like electricities, right? But the Web3 is building all those appliances, right? So they're in different degrees, right? So it's not like say, hey, once I have electricity, I get everything done. No, you still need appliance. So Web3 is way much broader, right? You need to build all those kind of interesting applications, and you protect your data and protect your identity and the data. And now everything get AI is basically like super powered. So we actually have this strategy for a long time, but we're just waiting for it to mature. And so this year, you mentioned the white paper that I'm working on. Honestly, I'm still working on that. But one of the key part is basically showing a bigger picture that how we plugging all those things, all those new technology together into this bigger picture of the Web3, and how this turn the Web3 into something that is not your 2 years yourself blockchain or dApps anymore. It's something that is way much smoother and as powerful as any Web2 applications, but they have all the benefits of the Web3 that let you really own your identity, your data, and your assets.
So, one thing I do want to bring up here is, I want to reiterate the middleware. The Blocklet is middleware. And, you could design, you could create things with this, you could use as many blocklets as you need to create, a single piece application, or you could make it more complex. Now,
let me break. Sorry for break your. So basically, Blocklet could be a lot of things, and the middleware is one part of that. So the key part of this whole Blocklet architect is we call it composability. It's composable. Composable is basically means like it's basically like a Lego, right? You just it's the adapter is very easy, and each of the component they are also very simple. And you can very easily plug them together and then turn them into something else, right?
With the bigger application.
Yeah. So like some of those things, you're still able to compose them, but they're not that pluggable. Imagine like IKEA, right? IKEA's furniture. I believe everybody, when you install the IKEA's furniture before, you always hate it because it takes time. It's not that hard, but it takes time. It's complex because you have to know how to use this. But composability is basically like you buy the furniture and place in the house, right? So I buy these chairs. I don't need to kind of install it or I just buy the chair and put there, right? So the Blocklet composability is we try to make that as like a zero code
turnkey solution, more or less, because the Blocklet, instead of you building everything from scratch, you're getting it more in a Lego piece, so it's more, in fact, I think the right way to describe that is more like a turnkey operation once you have whatever Blocklet tool that you're using. So if you're using a web pages Blocklet, that is your way to fast track making a website. If you have the AI kit, this is a fast track way of doing this or doing that or whatever the tool may be. And, the reason why I wanted to bring this up is to, because it does take a while for, I would say the regular person to understand what Blocklet is, but also to understand why it's so universal and why it's decentralized. I love how whenever you describe the single point, there's no single point of failure. I love the fact that you could use Blocklet on ArcBlock serverless server, and you pay a quarterly service for that. Or if you have your own server and let's say you need DID solutions or you need whatever solution that this Blocklet has, you could take that Blocklet and run it on your own server. I like the fact that, because typically in crypto world, let's say a lot of admins have to migrate from one ecosystem to another ecosystem, like migrate blockchains just to get maybe they have a better smart contract configuration, or maybe they have a better community, or whatever the reasons are that admins migrate, and typically, investors don't like this. They want to just have, one place and that's it. But the problem is the reason why admins move or they migrate to other ecosystems is because the ecosystem they're on doesn't offer the tools they need to build whatever they want. And that's what I like about ArcBlock. It gives you the tools without you having to consider those things. You could get the tools you need now without needing to jump around ecosystem to ecosystem just to get what you need. I don't think everything needs to be on the blockchain. There's also hybrid solutions. There's solutions that you could have on the blockchain. There's solutions that you could use at other levels too. So I think that the more and more we could kind of integrate two different pathways to utilize, these services, the better off a lot of other ecosystems will be without so much jumping around,
When I had Justin on of Byte Storage, he showed me some, I think it was like some apps using Blocklet. And I'd like to say that Blocklets are like the AI of like blockchain. If you look at it as far as like making the developer's job easier, so that they can fast track a DApp or a blockchain or anything like that. Really, as far as like ease of use for the developer, it's really like the AI, quote unquote, of blockchain. Would you say that to be true, Robert?
Yeah. So the Blocklet architect definitely make the developers and the users' life way much easier. There's a lot of things. The way we're doing that is basically that we fully automated a lot of things, right? So, but the Blocklet itself, we didn't use the AI to build it. It's all manually hard coding, right? Yeah. Hard coding. But it's but combine them together, it's going to be super powerful. And the most exciting part is we provide the tools for anybody who can improve. I think that the big thing that we are about to release is the AI Studio, which is a developer tool that built on top of AI Kit. Dion, I promise you, Dion and Ru, you are going to be able to develop your own AIs. Perfect. On the AI Studio, and that is powered by AI Kit without learn any coding language.
Wow.
So that is going to be something really cool, but it's still very important. I think right now in the new AI, this language model AI, there's a something called a prompt I just mentioned. Prompt is basically is something that is basically like imagine, for example, when Dion interviewed me, right? So Dion sent me a set of questions. I read this question and say, oh, great, this question is amazing, right? If I just need to follow his framework to answer these questions, I explain a lot of things. So the value of that is a framework itself. So this framework itself is a secret source of the Dion's interview, right? Same to you, right? So for like a newbie, interviewer like me, so sometimes the big question is, how do I talk to that guy? How I'm not over talk, or how I'm not kind of asking some questions that the people is really hard to answer or very embarrassed to ask for answer. So those are the know-hows and the expertise, right? So this is the same thing for the AI. Is the AI have the capability, but you still have your domain knowledge to correctly frame these questions, correctly to guide the AI to help things that customer need, right? So the AI Studio is this kind of design tools. So you can have all kind of different kind of prompt design for the client, for the customers. And then the customer don't need to worry about, because at that point, it's basically like the AI plus your intelligence together to turn into application. And but your intelligence in the past, your intelligence has to be written in the code. But in the AI, you no longer need to write in the code, but you still need to do something to let the AI to know how to help the customers. So that's how AI Studio is going to released and to help people. So for this is kind of like a pre-announcement. So we're going to have the AI kit like as a foundation layer. AI kit is a blocklet, and once you have that, a lot of things going to have the AI. We're going to have a new assistant. We decided to call that AI assistant. So AI assistant is going to you can imagine this is the bigger upgrade for the tweet assistant. It's going to know how to tweet, how to write emails, how to write your bio, how to write a job application letter, a lot of those things. Plus, there is an AI Studio that allow you to create the new capability for the AI to do things, right? So, an average user, they just need to use the AI assistant. There's basically 10 different kind of things or 20 different things they can immediately use. For advanced users or for pros like you guys, you can use the AI Studio to create special tasks to let the AI to do that automatically. You can also share those skill sets to let anybody to be able to use those skills. And so that's basically like the possibility of that kind of application is basically like infinite, right? We're basically not just building some things. This is just like what we aiming on creating platform, right?
Yeah, we give the robot the ideas, and the fact that the robot could create those ideas is what blows me away about everything, because a lot of the times that, like, for instance, there's a lot of things that I want to do but my bandwidth is stretched out, because typically, for sure everyone, does their own part in spreading awareness, and that's always good. But when it comes to actually building things, I don't really have too many hands to help me build something. So, and shout out to some of our artists out there, my CGI artists that do things with me. You guys know who you are. There's actually like a handful of people that I've actually been able to build things with. But still, that's only a handful of people, compared to, let's say, if I'm a person that I love putting ideas together. I love putting things into action. But sometimes I don't have enough hands, or I don't have enough time to dive in and create something from scratch, So that's why I like about Blocklet, because Blocklet, I could go from zero to like startup right away. You know what I'm saying? Like, and a lot of people don't realize this, but when you are creating an NFT marketplace for selling your art, or you're becoming an NFT marketplace to sell whatever object or whatever service or product you have, those are all things, those are all businesses that you can create, you know, and it takes time to, you know, and maybe, you know, for some things over others, some could be a few hours, or maybe sometimes it could take longer or whatever. But the point of the matter is I could type in what I want with this robot and get things moving faster. You know, I think that the faster we could make people from regular everyday people to business owners within seconds or so, you know what I mean? If we can make that type of production rate happen, it's next level, and it'll open a lot more opportunities for people that want to build on ArcBlock or want to build in general, you know. So that's something that really speaks to me. And you know, we're already working on DID monsters with Alex, and Alex is one of our CGI artists, and he has a passion for monsters, so you know, I'm supporting him on the monsters idea. But you know, those are just certain things that I like working on with our community members. If they have something that they want to build, I want to help them build it, you know. And it's like when I found out about ArcBlock, I loved everything about it. I liked all the data I found on it, and the more and more I got involved, and here we are, you know. So I always like pulling our community together to not just be viewers, but be builders. There's no reason for you to consistently just watch videos all the time. Let's build something together. You know, there's so much happening that we have a brand new digital economy. Be part of it. You know, clearly everything is going to get converted.
I want to just conceptualize this for everyone. What I heard with the AI assistant is like that foundation layer. That's like Siri. Imagine, okay, now you're talking to Siri, and you know how helpful Siri can be. You can say, spell this, like what's the multiplication of that? But then imagine on top of that, something that you can't even conceive of, like how I was asking ChatGPT. I have a second show where I talk about things that are like outside of crypto. So I was like, ChatGPT, give me all of the bull gods in history. And it gave me all of them. And I was like, wow, that's amazing. But then imagine asking it, I don't know, like that would be like writing a term paper. But then
asking if we've ever left the atmosphere to the moon, or you know, things like
that.
Oh
my God, that is an even harder question. But I was surprised when I asked it to like, okay, hey, ChatGPT, give me a Rust tutorial. It gave me the longest, most thorough Rust tutorial I've ever seen in my life. And for you guys who are not in coding, Rust is like a new way to code. It's like C+++. So like imagine it like having your best friend actually tell you how you can code something and giving you written examples. But like, this is not even just your best friend explaining it. ChatGPT gives it to you in like 10 seconds, right? And you can just go look at it. And imagine what Dion was just talking about with contracts. Lawyers, like, okay, ChatGPT, write me a grant or something like that for, you know, I don't know, write me a grant for homeless children or something like that. Like, and it writes it. Write me a, you know, business plan for this business, and it writes it. Like, imagine how much that can improve your efficiency, how much it can save you money. Like, there's just endless amount of different use cases, and it's just hard to pin it down and to explain it to someone when you have such an endless amount of use cases. But just think base level is Siri, but then plus level or plus ultra level is like asking your best friend to like write your term paper. And then plus ultra level is like,
I think the kid actually got caught. There was a kid that got caught. He turned in an essay that ChatGPT wrote for him. Yeah.
But I think it's like, no, you didn't write this.
I mean, it is what it is. You know what I mean? I mean, you would think that the kid would be at least, you know, smart enough to like take what was written and kind of like, you know, move around the words, you know.
Yeah, I think this is still because it's early, so people might thinking this is cheating. But actually, the AI, the like ChatGPT is not magical, right? You cannot say just to tell it, say write an essay, and then that essay going to be the best paper, right? So you still need to give it the idea. So that kid definitely still has his idea. He just didn't need to spend his time to to structure it or to write it in better, and the AI do that for him. But the idea is still his. I kind of this remind me, for example, when I was a kid in China, right? So we cannot use calculators, right? If you use calculators it's treating as a cheat, right? But when I see my kids went to school, and the school asking for buy the calculators, and you need to use the calculators to calculate things, right? Mm-hmm. So it's just kind of the time has been shifted. Potentially in the future, it's no longer a cheating by using AI a system like this, because everybody use it, and why don't you use it, right? So
I think you have
but your idea still is super important. It still is not replacing you. It's just to kind of release you from doing some boring jobs.
I think you have a really, it's funny. I've never thought of it that way at all. Like never. When I read this story, I was like, this kid was clearly cheating, that he didn't write the paper. But you're right, because, it's still his idea. It's still his IP. And whatever that IP is, just explained or articulated by something doesn't change the fact that that's still his answer. So, I've never really thought of it that way. But again, through legislative thinking in this type of fashion, it makes me wonder how far they're going to take thought. You know what I mean? Like, man, that's, I don't know, that it's definitely something to think about. I've never thought of it that way, because it is your idea. It is your answer. You didn't articulate writing it out, but it's still your answer. So I think that's actually really mind blowing. I know it sounds simple maybe when you say it out loud, but when I, first heard that, I was kind of like, yeah, that is so true. It is kind of my idea still. Why can't I go to college right now and start getting A+?
Yeah, so I think this is actually what you just discussed is actually kind of explain why language models like a GPT-3, a ChatGPT could be that powerful. Because in the computer science, the AI have many different directions. The language model wasn't expected to be that successful before, because in the past, people intend to think in different ways that nobody believed until OpenAI make this kind of a big breakthrough. But if we're thinking why it happened, right? So it actually makes sense, because we as a human, right? So what do you think in your mind? We don't know. It's probably chemical you think in your mind. But if you don't speak out, if you don't use your language to communicate, we don't know what you're thinking, right? Mm. So I don't know what Dan is thinking, but until he said something. So how he said it? He said in the language, right? So language is actually already translating what's in his mind. He tried to frame it, don't use some bad words, and use that kind of easy, slowly better, or speak that way.
I wish I had a filter, I wish I had a perfect filter.
Yeah, so right. So the language is and also language is not accurate, right? So for example, hey, I say I hold a cup here, but what is exactly is a cup? Every different people has a different interpretation. But language is also a consensus protocol, right? So it's similar in the blockchain. It's because we all agree, say a cup is a mug is something like this, right? And but it's not exactly accurate. So the ChatGPT is a language model. So the language model itself does not think. It only kind of do learning from all those kind of language and try to figure out what looks the closest to the people, the language, right? Mm-hmm. So, but then since the language, our mind is not the language. Our mind is our mind, but we use the language as a tool to explain, and that created a new kind of communication protocol among the humans. But now AI cannot replace our mind, but AI learned this language perfectly, and so those language, when we read those language turn into our mind. So that magically make we feel that ChatGPT is looks like it understands me, like it has a lot of things. I think this is the magical of how human developed the language. So that is amazing. So now, of course, after the OpenAI makes this big success, this makes sense to everybody. So why language model sounds like intelligence, sounds like a human? Because language is just a tool that we human used for communication.
Yeah, exactly. And then, you know, if this robot has access to the internet and it's grabbing from all of these different sources, you know, there's clearly a consensus for a variety of these topics. So the better the consensus on whatever topic it's searching for, the more accurate per se, you know, that the answer will be. I think, you know, there. So we were talking with a lot of other people on this, and we kind of wonder what's going to categorize definitions and what's going to categorize, you know, cultural opinions. You know, for instance, like you were holding up a cup. You know, what if, you know, just as example, clearly, I don't think there's any cultures out there that, you know, wouldn't look at that as a cup. But let's say if, you know, somebody out there looks at it like a bowl, you know, and that serves a particular culture because in their culture, that's what their bowl looks like or whatever, you know. So it kind of makes me wonder how they're going to categorize consensus between different topics, you know. I mean, the imagination goes wild when you start thinking about what AI is. And then the reason why is because, you know, as humans, we want AI and robotics to be as close to us as possible for the sake of accuracy. So, you know, whenever I think about this, I'm already going through a wormhole right now, you know, just thinking about it.
I love what the both of you just brought up. And this also, I think, is the key to who will be the best at utilizing AI, right? Because you brought up a cup, and then Dion, you talked about, okay, what if somebody views that as a bowl? So context is going to be very important in using AI, and those people who are able to write with the greatest context and the greatest understanding of what they're writing and expressing that might be the best people who are able to use the AI.
You're having brain blast over here because now
no, I think you're hitting the right point. Yeah, that's super, you know, that's super important. Yes.
Here's another thing I'm thinking, because like context has intent. You see what I'm saying? Because when you're trying, that's what just, you know, wormholed me, because I'm like, oh man, that's actually really complicated, because now it's like, okay, if you're trying to design the AI to communicate with context, then the AI needs to have intent, you know, because you can't make context without intent. And then, you know, that goes to everything else. Like it is. I think they did a perfect job when they pretty much open sourced it to everybody to play with it, because everyone had their complaints. Everybody had suggestions to share about, you know, what was good, what was bad about it. You know, a lot of people were complaining that it was too woke. It didn't, you know, believe in this, or it believed in something else, or it was politically leaning somewhere else, or, you know, and clearly that's context and intent programmed into the system, you know. So that arm of programming is what we need to put into order. But again, the only thing I could think of to put this into order at the very furthest back, you know, filter is categories and subcategories of different ideologies, because every ideology has a different idealism, you know, or, you know, maybe they have a different. It's going to be tough. I don't even want to go down the wormhole, but, you know, it is awesome to think about, you know, where we're going. But, you know, let's go back to ArcBlock before my brain explodes any harder.
Let's not even mention sarcasm, right?
Oh no! Oh, yeah, exactly. Hopefully, the robots are never sarcastic, you know. So let's go into something else now. I remember there was staking that you were working on, and you know. Can you explain to us the benefits of that when it does come out? Because to my understanding, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, when the staking comes out eventually, you know, it's supposed to serve a gas fee reduction for both the user and third-party user from another wallet? Or
yeah, so this is something that we are coming. So we actually have this in the test net for a while, and we just haven't enabled it for the mainnet yet. So this is so this staking is not the typical staking that we heard in the blockchain. So this is something that is unique for our blocks designs. So first of all, so let's think about one thing is why do we need to pay the gas fee, right? So why do we need to pay the gas fee when we use Ethereum, when we use Bitcoin? Right now, the gas fee is 0 in our block, but this is going to not be the case soon. But why we need to pay the gas fee? The gas fee is not actually try to get the user to charging for it. For actually, honestly, I'm thinking the gas fee is something that is a big road blocker for a lot of new blockchain, users, so say, what? I need to pay to do anything, right? It's really painful. And also for very new users, they don't even have anything to pay, how to do it, right? Mm-hmm. But the gas fee is super important, is for basically for the attack, right? So the attacks, the spammers, the people who try to pollute your network with a lot of things, the most efficient way is let people, if you want to do something, you have to pay for it, and use an economic model to stop the spammers, stop the bad guys to doing things, right? So I have, in the past few years, when I just new to the blockchain, the same thing happened to me. I feel gas fee is so bad. But I realize gas fee is important to protect the network. So we are always researching and thinking there got to be a way that in the middle, that you can have the convenience just like it without using any gas fee. And also you need to have the way to protect the network that not easy to get attacked. So that's how we come out with this new idea, which is called a staking for the gas. The idea is super simple. So once we enable this feature, so our blockchain going to have the gas fee exactly like Ethereum or Bitcoin does, right? For each of the transactions, there is going to be a fee. So those fees are they are very cheap, but there's going to be a fee. Without those fees, you're not going to be broadcast any applications, any transactions. Those transactions are going to automatically get rejected. But how to make the user experience better? So we have this concept of staking for gas fee, because since the gas fee is only to protecting from the spammers, so the blockchain design, the way we design is, hey, you just need to stake 1 ABT. So the stake basically means I put that 1 ABT at a stake for the blockchain. That promise that I'm not going to spam. Mm-hmm. So if I'm not spamming, so that APT is safe, is nothing going to happen. But if one of the bad actors try to send bad transactions, send large volumes of spam transactions, the blockchain is going to automatically detect it. Once it detects it, and so the stake is forfeit, right? So that's called a slashing. You're going to get slashed on the stake. So I promise that the blockchain is going to be smart enough that the slash is way more expensive than the gas itself. And once your staking gets slashed, the gas fee is kicking because you no longer have a stake, and each of the transactions costs money, and the transaction is going to get dropped, right? So that's how the way we have this staking for gas features going to turn on.
So that's going to protect a lot of people, especially and keep a lot of the bad actors out, because what happens is a lot of these bad actors, they open up X amount of wallets and then they start spamming, finishing links or whatever they do, Another thing.
Another cool part, let me finish that. Another cool part is, imagine even with the staking and with this kind of staking for gas, it's not enough, still not friendly enough for the new users. Imagine I'm going to invite a new users to come, but first they need to pay the gas. even there's a staking for gas, they have to stake it, right? They don't have anything, so they don't have any tokens, so they cannot stake. Because they cannot stake, they need to pay the gas, but they don't have stuff to. So this is the chicken egg problem, right?
Yep.
So we also think about, okay, we need to fix this chicken egg problem. So that's what we call the staking for anybody, right? The staking for anybody is basically means, hey, if I'm inviting somebody, so I can stake for basically, like, I can guarantee, if I bring a friend into this conversation, I put myself at stake, say, hey, I promise this is my friend. He will not say something really bad. And if indeed that person does something bad, so my stake is at a risk, right? So that's that's the future we call the staking for somebody else.
So you'll be able to save gas fees for you'll take your gas fees to zero and the person that you're communicating with as well?
Yeah, you can staking for anybody, right? You can staking for anybody. So we foresee the most useful scenario is application staking for the users. If I build application, I want to onboard the users. I don't want the gas fee and the crypto become a problem to onboard my users, right? What I can do is I'm staking for all my new users, right? So whenever the new user come, actually somebody already staked for them. Actually, somebody already protecting that for the gas fee. So the user have the best user experience. They don't feel a thing. They just feel this is free. This is free and very easy to use. And for the developers, they just stake a tiny bit of the money. And since this is their application, they need to ensure that your application does not, allow the user to do the bad behaviors. And so this is kind of like a trade-off, but that makes it easier, right? So this is basically like our principle for our block. We want to build a blockchain, and we are not kind of a marxist of the blockchain. We know blockchain is a revolutionary technology that can be super powerful, but we also know there's a lot of limitations today. It's not like the Bitcoin is the best blockchain. Bitcoin is great, but Bitcoin has its limitations. If we want to build a blockchain for the applications, we need to figure out, okay, what's good? And we need to enforce that. What is not that good? We need to improve that, right? So this is a typical example that we see. Gas fee is important, but gas fee is hurting user experience. And we find something in the middle ground that give the user best user experience while we can still using the same concept of the gas to protect the network. This is coming. So there's a lot of things coming. So yeah, there's a lot of to digest. Thanks a lot. Thanks, Dan, for thinking about this. These days I'm too excited about the AI, so I almost forgot this small feature.
The only reason why I remembered was like, for whatever, I mean, as soon as you brought up gas, I was like, oh yeah, that staking that's coming out or whatever, I think it's awesome because it's like, that's the biggest problem with ETH. A lot of people like ETH or they're forced to use it because that there's a lot of customers there. A lot of people use ETH to buy NFTs. So they're pretty much forced to pay these gas fees. So it is nice to have a different avenue where, this is going to be able to not only onboard people to DID versus MetaMask, it provides a secondary option that's, no gas fee, and the ability to onboard other people saying like, hey, look, I got DID wallet. I could pay for the gas fee for you to send me this or whatever, that I think that's huge. One thing I do want, I want to just bring up some of the comments that were in the chat. Sometimes it's so hard for me to keep a straight face because I'm reading some of the stuff that these guys say. And here at MYC, we definitely have comedy. We want to have like a relaxed, laid back feel. But I did want to read this. I kind of want to ask a question about it. So Dave says Robert nonchalantly is name dropping an A16Z employee he talks to. Who is that? What is he talking about? That was in my yesterday Twitter. So there is a guy I following. I follow a lot of people. There's quite a few people there.
because sometimes you're watching others people, what they're talking about, that are signals, that are early signals.
Yeah, because they kind of give you an idea of what's coming too. You know, that's when I remember when, you know, the whole Web 5 thing came out. Everybody was jumping on Jack Dorsey over that. You know, and then what was funny is like after you know the shenanigans was over, they were like, all right, we're gonna stop it. That was great stuff. Besides that, I think that's all I have for today. You know, I definitely want to have you on again, you know, whenever there's another update, or even if you want to just talk about the future, talk about Web3 and decentralization, you're always welcome to come back. Ruel, you have anything that you want to share?
I have one small, tiny question for Robert. I saw you on Nostr. Do you plan on connecting to Nostr for ArcBlock?
Oh, actually, we already did, right? So actually, one of our community, somebody in the community already built some Nostr blocklets. So right now, for example, Nostr, you need to, for example, you need to verify your Nostr, so you get a check, blue check, right? So to do that, you either have to register for some paid service, or you have to register for some of the other services, and most of them they are either slow or you need to pay for them, right? So that is a very simple protocol. So basically, right now there is a Nostr verification blocklet. All you need to do is just if you have your own domain set up, and you install that Nostr blocklet, that's going to give you the NIP5 verification. Then you're going to show the check mark of the verified users. If you look at my Nostr, you can see I have like verified for robertmao.com, just like Jack verified for square.com. You know, so that's the NIP5 code NIP5. I can see in the future potentially somebody in the Nostr community going to build some kind of a Nostr blocklet that lets you run your own Nostr relay. So again, this is another thing, because our blog is a platform. It's an open platform. It can build anything, right? Anything popular. Sometimes people ask me, hey, Robert, why there's always whenever there's something new, something popular, you always say you have something. That's a beautiful part of the platform, right? Because we are agnostic to any technology. Whenever there's something interesting, and I can build it, you can build it, anybody can build it, right? So that's a value of the openness.
See, the problem with a lot of investors is they're not understanding the builder's language. You know, you're a builder, and you know you built a platform that's ready for builders. So you know all the things that you do, everything that you do leading up to this blocklet or this blocklet doing that, you're showcasing your middleware product. You're showcasing the blocklets, and you're showcasing the ability. You're showing how they could be attached to other technologies, and how agnostic they are. You know, the biggest selling point in all of crypto history has always been one word: interoperability. And ArcBlock has that. See, that's what a lot of investors aren't getting, because they're too busy saying, well, Robert, what are you doing? What are you going to build? Hello, you already built the platform. It's done. You have the tools. Everything. You have a completed platform here ready for builders to build on top of. That's the point, because now you have everything complete and you're showcasing all these different tools, and he's just telling you, use these tools and you could be the next big tech, because now you have the technology to do so at ease with little to no coding experience.
Yeah.
I love the interoperability, but I also love the speed that you can just get done like really quickly with the blocklet. That's the whole reason we were just talking about AI, right? I really love that.
So that's because when the platform is ready with a remote blocklet, it just things just become faster and faster, right? So when everything, you know, if there's a new foundation like our block, whenever you have a new technology, you have to build something from scratch. You have to hook up your own database, set up everything. All those takes time. But with the platform, you only focus on the new things, or one or two things, and then you just hook up everything that people already built for you. So that's just a kind of way faster, you know, time to the market. So that's the value of what we do.
So you guys notice how Robert said faster to market? Okay. That's why I was talking about when you could go 0 to 1. I'm trying to tell y'all, you guys could go 0 to startup, 0 to I have a business. That's the point. See, that's what I keep trying to nail into people's heads and they don't get it. Sometimes I'm like, I'm trying to tell you, you have the technology, you have the tool. Okay. You just need the brain to put the idea to the tool, and the robot is going to do the rest for you. Like, some people, in crypto, yes, the markets go up. There's money to be made in the markets, but there is 100x more money to make as a builder, especially when you have a new emerging digital economy. So if you see tools ready for your use case or whatever, then explore with it. You're not doing anything except watching charts anyways. Like what got me to get into building more than anything was those bear markets we went through. Every time I went through the bear market, after being annihilated for so long or holding, whatever the case was, you just keep looking at it. You're like, I'm kind of bored now. And then you start building things. That's the point, guys. So
yeah, building investment on the building, invest on building itself is basically, it's not 10x, it's not 100x, it's infinite x, right? Because when you're building, exactly, it's just the idea is from 0, right? So you always get something. So the platform art block we build is we want to empower builders, and we basically unleash the power from just a developer or just those kind of professional developers. Instead, we think the value of the software is not coding skills. I always say coding is easy. Coding is basically like dirty job. It's not that hard. But what's really hard is the idea. Is idea. You know what to do. You know what the customer is paying. You know how you fix these problems, right? Like Dion, you have your chat application, which is amazing, right? But you don't need to write the code because you hire somebody. So right now you have to pay the money to do that. But hopefully in some day you talk to our AI. Say, hey, I need this application. Boom, AI build that for you.
Right? Oh my gosh, I can't wait. That's what you see. If I had all unlimited resources and unlimited bandwidth, the things that I would do at hyper speed would be amazing because I have so many ideas I want to do, or there's so many other things that I could be doing. But something, it's always going to be sure. It's only slowly but surely. I'll just start, doing other things, finishing this, finishing that, or adding extensions to this. I was actually thinking about. I don't know if it's possible, but I thought about maybe if there was a way for me to make how like the way the format is when you're asking ChatGPT a question, it's just a box and you write into it. I was wondering if I could make a widget or something like or a link that'll populate the widget or whatever the case, where I could just put it into a particular server within my app.
Yeah. So did you see no, you didn't see that. So that's exactly what we're going to provide. That's called AI Studio, right?
Oh, really?
So,
okay.
Yeah,
okay.
You design it. What you design, what you build is use the AI Studio to kind of modeling what you ask for the ChatGPT, but then you get a UI fully automatically that anybody can use, right? So just stay tuned for a few days, and you'll get it. You get it, right?
That is amazing. Oh, well, you promised me earlier, so I'm gonna be taking a look at that. I'll be playing with that. Guys, I'm gonna cut this one short. I want to try to keep these interviews to about an hour. This one was jam-packed. Let's do it again. Again, guys, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. You guys know it's always live. It's always fluent. And there's no commercials. It's just straight up data, and we deliver to you guys raw. So, thank you guys for coming, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.
Peace, guys.
Thank you, guys. Bye. Yeah, good talk to you.